there are airports, and then there are A4Airport airports. And today we take a look at a 1:500 scale replica of a real live airport. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Review, where we, as mentioned, will take a look at a scale 500 replica of a real airport. So where are we today? Well, we are in Rotterdam The Hague Airport. What a lovely airport to replicate, because it has really the ideal size to be replicated in a setup like this. Now, A4Airport has been so very kind to send me this setup, and I should mention that this is the prototype of their setup, so there might be some minor inaccuracies here and there, but overall this is pretty much what you can expect should you be ordering this for yourself. When you receive your RTM model airport, you of course get this, the instruction manual. And here there is a detailed explanation how you put this all together. But should you be in doubt, then there are also instruction videos on the A4Airport website, and links, or in this case a QR code, is included so you quickly can find the videos you need. Apart from the instruction manual, you then also get an A4 paper sheet with GSE that you can cut out, so you can already add quite a bit of GSE to your airport setup from day one. Here A4Airport has used their standard but proven designs with a little twist, as they have been given a yellow color, something we haven't seen with A4Airport GSE so far. And then of course you get two A3 sheets, and that is where you then have all the parts that you need for the terminal buildings. And again, here it is really fairly simple. I mean, apart from the instruction manual, you have also really detailed explanations on the sheets, actually, where to cut and how to cut. Now, in terms of how to put this all together, my recommendation is to use a scalpel, but you can also use a small scissor in a pinch. Then you just fold the pieces together. You don't need any specialized glue. A stick glue will do just fine, or you can use double-sided tape, which is what I normally prefer. And in terms of putting this all together, you can expect a couple of hours, as the buildings for the RTM airport are actually fairly simple. The tower will probably be the most fiddly part, but A4Airport has already changed and improved from the designs of the prototype, so the tower will be easier and nicer to assemble. The ground plates are also using the standard procedures of A4Airport, and that means using the trusted magnet system. This is really quite nice because it means your ground plates won't be moving around. You have square and circle magnets, which makes it much easier to place the magnets correctly, because then you are not in doubt if you have a minus or plus pole magnet, and you will always place them correctly. But there is again also here actually a nice instruction manual which will tell you how to place the magnets. And apart from the magnets, you then also have these smaller pieces of cardboard which you are also placing underneath your ground plates. That is of course to compensate for the slight height difference that appears after you have added the magnets on the underside of the base plates. All in all, quite ingenious, quite simple, but with clear instructions, so you really can't do anything wrong here. What I, as always, love with A4Airport is the print quality they have on their buildings, but of course, especially also on the plates. I've talked about it in previous reviews, and it is maybe still a bit of a strange thing to comment on, but just the feel of these plates, and actually also the buildings, it has a nice touch to it, and you can literally feel the quality of the print here. They are cutting the boards really to perfection. Lines in the print are matching really well between the plates, but I should mention that you will notice that there are of course some gaps between the plates here, but that is actually mainly because this is the prototype and because of the way they printed onto the boards. With the finished products, these gaps or lines between the boards will be much more minimized. And with this setup, of course, they have kind of deviated a little bit. Now the company is called A4Airport. That is of course because the standard format that they used for their setups was, well, A4 sheets of cardboard for the base plates and or paper for buildings, but they have of course also branched out a little bit and are also using, for example, A3 sheets of cardboard, which we see executed very well in this setup. And I think this really benefits from this So instead of having 8 sheets of A4 cardboard, you have 4 sheets of A3 cardboard. The benefit here is, of course, clear. You are minimizing the amount of cuts you need to do. This is, of course, benefiting the print, but also, obviously, there will be some small lines appearing between the boards. And since you have less boards, there are less of these lines. But even though you do have these lines, I mean, honestly speaking, you hardly notice them. You have to really be nitpicking to see, okay, this is where you have a cut. Most of the cases, it kind of just disappears in the setup. When you're taking pictures as well, they often just kind of disappear in the image. So I have never really had an issue with this, but I know, of course, there are some out there that don't like that. And yes, that is maybe a drawback from this kind of setup. But, and that is the good news, is that A4Airport is also working on creating airport mats for those who want to have a more permanent setup. The benefit of this, of course, using these kind of boards that you then assemble with magnets is, of course, that, well, you can also disassemble it again. And if you are like me, who doesn't really have airport setups up all the time, but most of the time actually has disassembled them and put them away, and then only puts them out for special occasions, then this is actually the ideal setup, because you can much easier disassemble it. It doesn't take up a lot of space. I mean, these A3 cardboards, again, even if it were A4 pods, they're taking up even less space. So that is a really, really nice thing that I personally really like. So I think where A4Airport is really shining is, of course, with the print, because they have really nailed down that the quality is just excellent. And I haven't really come across anyone that matches them in that regard. And then you also have to think about that it is actually a super cost-effective way of creating your own airport. Yes, of course, you do spend some money, but considering that you are getting the base, you're getting the buildings, you're getting GSE, you're getting the light poles, you're getting pretty much all that you need for a full and complete airport setup. So really perfect for everyone who's really starting out with their very first airport, but also for those seasoned collectors that perhaps just want to have like a little side setup. But is it really just clear skies and calm winds with A4Airport? Now, A4Airport were so very kind to send me this setup, but that doesn't mean that I won't give you my honest opinion. And yes, there are many great things, and I think A4Airport generally does a really solid job with their products. But there's at least one thing that I've noticed that is kind of bugging me a little bit. And what it is specifically is actually the taxiways. Now, we have so many lovely printed details here, so I would love to take some great pictures with aircraft on the taxiways. But if you notice that here, for example, I mean, they're kind of cutting half of the taxiway away. And that makes it really difficult to take a picture. If I wanted to take a picture from that side, having the aircraft in the foreground and maybe the parked aircraft here in the background, that's tough when half of the taxiway is missing. But I must also admit that I don't really know the solution to it, because they could extend the setup on this side, but then you would kind of break this format unless you took away something from the other side, but then you would miss, well, the taxiway entrance for the stands. And I also think that wouldn't be a nice way of doing it. I guess in this setup, we have the benefit of having the dual taxiway system here at the front. So that means I can place an aircraft on a full taxiway. But again, these sides also so nice. There's so many nice details. And it's just something I've noticed, not just on this setup, but in general with A4Airport, that they tend to cut away parts of the taxiways. And again, I must also admit, I don't really know what a proper solution would be for that. Maybe you have an idea. Let me know in the comment section below. But yeah, it is really just an issue if you want to take pictures or film for that matter, because I think if you're just, enjoying the setup, putting it up to look at it yourself, then it's not an issue. But when you really want to take pictures and benefit from these lovely printed details, yeah, it doesn't quite work for me. But that's all I had to say about this lovely replica of Rotterdam The Hague Airport. What do you think about this replica in scale 500 from A4Airport? Let me know in the comments section below. Is this something you might consider to get for yourself as a maybe Christmas present, or for someone that likes aviation in your family? Well, again, let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. Personally, I think they have done a great job with it. I think, again, considering the overall package, getting the board, getting the buildings, getting GSE, everything you need to get started with an airport, I think this is a pretty good deal. But with that, we have reached the end of this review. There are more A4Airport product reviews coming in the near future, so keep your eyes peeled for that. But for now, I have said everything I wanted to say about this lovely little airport. So if you enjoy this type of content, be sure to leave a like. If you are new around here, why not hit subscribe? And with that, thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon again. I'm checking out, and bye.